Oh, speaking of money, Donald Trump appeared in front of a court yesterday. Well, I think he appeared in front of a couple. But at the very least, New York State Appeals Court said that he does not have to provide $454 million as a bond. And understand what's happening here. A judgment, he has been found guilty of civil violation, his corporation of defrauding or of him being engaged in defrauding people. Based upon the valuations of his properties, he would give one for one set of people where it would benefit him, and he'd give another one for another set of people.
Including the government.
Including the government. And
paying less on his taxes, underinflating what he had. Or that's a contradiction, but you know what I mean. Undervaluing. Yes.
Exactly. The verdict was that he needs to pay $454 million in fines. I think there may be some interest associated with that, but let's just let him off the hook for that for the moment. And the idea was like, well, he wants to appeal. But in a case like this, to appeal, you need to put up a bond, essentially like a loan, if you will, that is not recoupable if you lose your appeal. It's only recoupable if you do, but you got to cover these, you got to pay the money. And he said, well, I can't afford to pay all of that right now in time for an appeal. So the court said, well, it's 174 then, million. And you have, I think it was like 10 days to file that appeal till April 5th. So if he doesn't do it by then he's just got to pay the 450. Here he is when asked, speaking to reporters after having his bond reduced and giving an extension to post it. Here he is asked, would you ever accept money from a foreign government to pay the bond or your fines? Now, of course, he's a multi-billionaire. Why would he not immediately say like, hey, I'm running for president of the country. I'm not going to accept money from a foreign country. That would be absurd. I mean, how much in debt would I have to be? I ran my whole campaign the first time by saying I'm not in debt to rich people because I'm rich. And so I don't need to take their campaign money. Well, it turns out that's not what he said.
Accept money from a foreign government to pay the bond or their fines or
no, I don't do that. I mean, I think you'd be allowed to possibly. I don't know. I mean, if you go borrow from a big bank, many of the banks are outside of this. As you know, the biggest banks, frankly, are outside of our country. So you could
because
do that,
of Joe Biden.
To borrow money. I have a lot of money. I built a great company.
There you go. So if you wanted that straight, clear, absolutely not. Of course, I would be beholden to any type of foreign national that might loan me that money.
Which is interesting because they're accusing, without evidence, Joe Biden of that exact same thing.
Yeah, except for it involved a fake $5 million as opposed to a real $200 million, $400 million.
And this is the guy that we should note said, Russia, if you're listening, please hack emails, right? That's what he said about Hillary Clinton. So he's shown a willingness to work with others.
Yes.
Yeah, Deutsche Bank.
It's called cooperation, international cooperation. I got to say, he looks as old as I've ever seen him look in this. Doesn't he?
Yeah.
He looks gaunt.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what that is? I know what that is. Ozempic.
Yeah. Also, like when this lighting is not good for him because it goes right into his gaseous sort of hair and makes it look like a halo.
But also, look at his face. I mean, he looks like he's just lost a considerable amount of weight very quickly.
I mean, it can be stressful for him. He's not the kind of guy that wants to go and beg actual rich guys like Elon Musk for money and say, I'll do anything for you. It's not in his DNA.
To have had his life like basically like floated off of a bunch of real estate and money from his dad, but to always be like able to get stuff from the banks, but to be this old and still having to be like, I need to get some money together. You got to be a weird kind of hell.
Well, he made a bet in 2016. Like that book Devil's Bargain, basically, which talked about it a lot, how he'd never really thought he would win. He just thought this was a branding exercise for him. And that's why things were not buttoned up in the way they should have been. And just by his nature as a crook, he's in a situation where he can't get out of it.
Please let this be a video.
Oh yeah, hold on.
Please let this be a video.
Sorry, that's just a photo of it.
Just to make the point, we're coming upon. Isn't Good Friday? Is Good Friday this Friday?
Yes.
Okay, Good Friday is this Friday to all is it Christians? All the Christians who celebrate Good Friday? I thought it was just Catholics. It doesn't matter. The point is,
I'm a Catholic, so I don't know.
This is extremely. It's a Holy Week is coming up. I think many of you might be giving up some food for Lent or something like that.
Going to Long John Silver's.
And Donald Trump wants you to celebrate it. And let's be clear, he is not in any way have a problem with getting cash. This is Donald Trump on Truth. Oh, which incidentally is public today. So if you want to buy some Truth Social, I think you can. Can you buy some stock in this?
Yeah.
At least, I don't know if it's publicly traded. Is it publicly traded? You should just know before you buy that the revenue was something like maybe $1.5 million last year, but and it only took them $46 million to raise that.
That's so odd. That's
the
so
stock
odd.
numbers are DJT, the initials.
By the way, Trump owns 60% of Trump Media, or roughly $78 million shares. So, sorry, 78 million shares, I should say. So he
We
has
gotta
a
get
stake.
these shares.
They're worth like $3.5 billion.
He has an interest in this going public.
But folks, and I wonder if you get one of these free if you buy enough shares. Here you go.
I'm proud to be partnering with my very good friend Lee Greenwood, who doesn't love his song God Bless the USA, in connection with promoting the God Bless the USA Bible. This Bible is the King James Version and also includes our founding father documents, yes, the Constitution, which I'm fighting for every single day, very hard, to keep Americans protected. Also, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance are all part of this. God bless the USA Bible.
You know, I didn't want to make this about this, but this whole combining of the Bible and the Constitution and all the other civic sort of like documents of our life in one bound, easy to use, just in case you get confused. There's a word for that, and it's called the theocracy.
Convenient.
It's also
But
explicitly.
don't worry, I barely believe in any. The important part is that you look upon me as God.
It's also contradictory if we're putting the Constitution and the Bible in the same situation. I mean, there's an establishment clause. I don't know if he's aware of that.
That's overrated.
For one low price, you can get all these public domain works.
Exactly. Bound up. How much is it?
We got to go to GodBlessTheUSABible.com.
Let's see how much we're gonna pay for this thing.
Lee Greenwood.
There he
Wow,
is.
who's that dude? Is that Lee Greenwood?
Yeah.
Jesus, he doesn't look good either.
$60.
$60.
Scroll up to Lee Greenwood.
That's nothing.
He
Wow,
looks like
that's
the,
cheap. That's
the
gonna be.
restaurant guy in Sopranos.
He does.